Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dexter New Blood, Episode 8, Spoilers Review. I am the We Need to Talk About the Bay Harbor Butcher, Trask Snail, and I'm joined by...
The venison, Kirklin Patzer. And I gotta ask, did you not enough room for like your actual, like you usually put your Twitter handle, I feel, but now you just, there's so many characters.
I should, I know, I panicked, but I bet
Okay.
I don't, so I'll find
I
out.
thought you used up all the available space just for that title, because that is a mouthful. That is like the fantabulous emancipation
please
of one
limit to
Harley
50
Quinn.
characters. Shit,
Oh, there
well,
you go.
you'll never know where to find me on Twitter now. Oh my god.
And who are we joined by also?
The Field of Fields, Taylor Field.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we were talking about this offcast, but it feels like it's not almost been a week. It's been like I think 5 or 6 days, but I feel like it's been a little bit. You know, it's strange when we're podcasting so consistently. But we're gonna do a newscast after this, me and Kirklin as well. But if you don't listen to that, just a big last Merry Christmas. Hope everyone had a good Christmas, safe. Even if you're alone, I hope you had some good times. You know, there's good movies out there. Buy some chocolate. I hope you had a good time wherever you are, and I hope it was safe. And I hope you guys aren't freezing your asses off like we are over here, where we got some cold weather. But we got a few casts that'll come out for the rest of the year, and we had lots of casts that have come out. Taylor, where can they find all that stuff?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us via your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerse is our Twitter. GeekVerse on our Facebook. Be sure to check us out on the Facebook because the fan base Christmas community poll is coming to a close. It is the last round tonight. It's literally, we're live right now. So you got 13 minutes to go vote. And then it's the last matchup of the semifinal round.
Yeah, that was a weird way of phrasing it. Not the last round. The last round's the finals.
Very well. Yeah, last round. It's the last matchup of the semifinal round. So currently it is Kevin McAllister versus the Grinch. The Grinch has taken a strong 20-ish vote lead. And then we'll be going into Scott Calvin, Santa Claus, pitted against Jack Skellington.
It was neck and neck with Kevin and the Grinch. Then when I woke up, it was like, man, it's over. It's over for you, Kevin McAllister. And I from the very beginning said I thought Grinch was going to win, but it makes sense why Grinch is. I voted for Kevin though last night. I wanted Kevin to win, but didn't happen. So go down the links below and you can find everything. Most importantly, our Patreon. I don't think we promoted this yet because we were off air when it dropped. What a Christmas cast it dropped. But on Christmas, we dropped Eyes Wide Shut. And it was good because I'm sure there were some people maybe alone for the holidays and people were listening to that. So a big thank you. But Matrix, our second biggest review of the year, which is nuts. I would have not have predicted that when we did Matrix. I did not think it would beat like Dune and Hawkeye and stuff. But it's I keep seeing these, a divisive movie of 2021. I haven't looked into it just because I don't really care. We'll talk about the newscast because I don't really care. I enjoyed it and I moved on with my life. That's where I am. Maybe in 2017 I'm like, why do people find it so divisive? And I'm like, oh, cool, I liked it and thanks for listening. So appreciate that. And I don't know if there's anything else of the news coming out. Right, Boba Fett is tomorrow. There's just
that's
so
news.
Much stuff. Yeah, that's news, big news. But head down Patreon below because of Eyes Wide Shut. That you can join a tier that you can pick any movie as long as we've not reviewed it before and we can retrospect it. So you can do that. You also make us do other content. The more you support us, the more content you create. That's how we got the Matrix Retro. That's how we do Eyes Wide Shut. We have a couple more doing in January that I won't reveal yet. So, and plus you get ad-free exclusive early episodes. So, and also it's going to be in a month or so, but Golden Geeks will be coming up. And like we did last year, we have open voting to the patrons. So if you want to get in there, you want to let your opinion be heard, now's the time because we're going to be taking... For votes, you'll do that, but for nominees, you guys might have to get in there because if there's a tiebreaker, we're going to leave it to the fans. So lots of good stuff. Head on the description below. Video, audio, where to find us. My Twitter handle can't fit in the StreamYards link, but it is down below where to follow us. Video, audio. Spotify now has reviews, so do that. Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you may be. Join the Discord. Podcast networks popping off. We have 4 streams as well, or 4 podcast feeds as well. So, yeah, lots of good stuff. I did this last week, so but I can't remember because it's been a long week, Christmas, all this stuff. I'll go again because I'm not sure where these gentlemen are. I did not do, other than spending great time with my family, I didn't do much with my family because my kids were sick. So we stayed home, didn't want to get anyone else sick. We're going to do Christmas dinner later on and stuff. So I was actually on Christmas, kids were asleep. It's like, well, I guess I'm home. I'll watch Dexter. So I watched Dexter and, So here's the rock and hard place. I don't think this is a bad episode, but if I was talking about last week being a filler episode, man, did this one say, oh yeah, well, I'll show you something. And this, I feel like last week and this episodes could have been combined into one and we could have been done with it. I think it's one of these things right now, what I'm worried about, especially we talked about, that was my biggest concern with Hawkeye, is it going to finish and not feel rushed? For me, it did. This whole episode felt like if you're going to see a movie and you're with a group of friends and all of you are done, let's say you're going to go get some beer, some food before, and everyone's done. There's 4 people, everyone's done. But the 4th guy, Jimmy Sr., he's taking his sweet ass time with the food. And you're like, man, we still got to drive. We got to get to the theater. I want to get popcorn. And there's always that one fucker. It's like, and you're again antsy. You're moving around your seat. That's what I felt around this whole episode. Not because I was antsy about Dexter. I was antsy of like, man, I feel like we're really running out of time here. And especially, I'm happy where the episode ended. But if we truly do, as I'm taking that, there were truly have only 2 episodes left, I do not feel, I don't think it's going to be a bad ending. I don't think he's going to be a fucking lumberjack again. But I feel like this feels very similar to the series finale the first time, where the whole season just felt like a regular season. And then like the last 2 episodes, like, oh, well, we got to end everything. And yeah, I don't know. I am hoping there's some announcement or some twist that there is another season, because I think you could get a lot more out of what is happening currently. But this episode, to me, I won't say filler, but was not necessarily needed. All my fears going into this episode kind of were matched, even though there were some good things in here. Kirklin Patzer, where are you on, what was this?
Episode
Unfair
8,
Game,
Unfair
was it?
Game.
Yeah,
That's
Unfair
right.
Game,
It's
yeah.
weird because when I was looking at it on my app, it says like big game. And then when on the app it said I was like, hey, where's the big game? And then it said like fair game, and then it dropped in the unfair game beginning. I'm like, what the fuck? That's
Yeah.
not what it's called.
I saw Big Game on my app as well, too. So
yeah,
Crave just
very
fucking up
weird.
again. Yeah.
Fuck you, Crave. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's giving us Dexter, so I can't really complain there. But still, I hate that app with a passion. But no, for this episode, I agree with a lot that you said, but I also disagree with some of it. I thought that this was like a notch up from a filler episode. I definitely understand where you're coming from, but I still think it was a lot better than what I was expecting, because just with how last week's episode ended, it's like, okay, we're going into another episode of Dexter just being chased by this guy, and that's kind of how it started. And I'm glad that we had a lot of like not necessarily flashbacks, but just like flashes to other things that's going on in the town of Iron Lake, whether it's with Harrison or Kurt or even just some other characters, Angela. I'm glad that it wasn't just Dexter stuck in a box
Yeah,
or something.
true.
So for that reason, I'm like, okay, this is better than what my expectations were. It's funny you mentioning just with how many episodes are left. I feel like I don't feel like we're nearing the end, just because that's the vibe that you get from this episode. It's not like they're really rushing to a finish. I really liked how this one ended, actually. It got me excited going forward. But I could also possibly make that argument for like the last 5 episodes. I feel like they all end on like, oh, I can't wait for next week's just to know what's going to happen. So they're keeping that trend running there. But all in all, I think this was a good episode. I would give it over the 50%. It was definitely a pass in my books. I'm curious, once the series is all finished, how I'll feel about the individual episodes on because once you know. Like once the season's done, and let's say that this is just the finish of the series of Dexter New Blood, and then you could you could pick apart each episode and be like, okay, they wasted time here. This was not needed. They could have just talked about this here and there. So it'll be interesting to just come back and think about how I feel about each individual episode once that's said and done. But all in all, I think this was a pretty good episode. I think there was some good stuff from multiple characters. Taylor Field mentioned this in a previous episode on like those little flash forwards. Like it'll be like Dexter New Blood, and then a bunch of flashes of like what's going to come to the episode. I never really felt that it took anything away from them until this episode, and I'll speak upon something specifically, in the spoiler section. But there was just something that was shown that I'm like, okay, that's going to happen. And then when it did happen, I'm like, man, that could have been such a great reveal if they didn't show that in the little like flash forward snippet. But all in all, I still think it was a pretty okay episode. And I'll leave it there because I'm excited to talk spoilers.
I stopped watching the flash forwards. When they happen, I close
There you
my
go.
eyes.
That's
and
smart.
Then I catch them after when Emily
La,
and I
la, la, la,
rewatch
la.
it. Yeah, just because I don't. After we had that conversation about the wrestling team one, I was like, yeah. I'm gonna stop looking, because guarantee you the fucking finale, they're gonna show Dexter get his head chopped off or something. Be like, oh shit, I know what's happening.
That'd be so brutal. It's like a court scene. He's like getting arrested. It's like, what?
Batista pulls a gun. Taylor, what do you feel with this one? Because I feel like this had lots of Kurt-centric moments. I feel like this has to be a banger for you.
How's your defendant looking?
Yeah.
We're building a strong case. Yeah, I think this episode overall was. I mean, I quite enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It had several aspects to it that I was quite surprised by, but I was really enjoying a lot of the head dialogue from Dexter in this episode, I guess you could say, without spoiling anything. I think there was a lot of stuff going on there that I really liked. I'm really happy with how like the ending went, but I know, again, where we're going with this story is just going to get much more climactic with how they're going to take a turn. I feel like the next episode with how this episode went is going to be very, very intense, but I'm very happy with how things went in this episode. I was kind of like, not in like a sick way, but like cheering Dexter on in some moments, like, oh, let's fucking go. Yeah.
Yeah. Get him harder.
Yeah.
Come on, Dad.
But there's one scene I can't wait for us to talk about it because like it just caught me off guard. I was like, holy fuck, like what's just, stumbling in here now? Like I'm sure you guys know what I'm referencing, but
I don't know if I do because
I do not.
Does it have to do with a sporting activity?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about because it was we went to some places. So.
Oh, okay. Yes, now I know.
That's it.
That's it. Eh? Yeah.
That's it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna take ad break and then we're getting to spoilers. So if you've not seen Dexter New Blood episode 8, now's the time to bounce out and come back. So we'll be right back. I was doing my fucking sign off. I was gonna do my hand like sign off.
See you later.
And we're back. So I feel like we should talk about this in 3 chunks. I feel like there's the Kurt and Harrison chunk.
Yeah.
There's the Angela chunk and the Dexter and creepy hat guy.
The Joker, essentially.
That's about.
Want to know how I got these scars?
Chris is like, "Did you watch Dexter?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," and he sent me the gif of the Joker like right away. I'm like, "Oh yeah," especially when he looks in the mirror, he's like, "Oh fuck," like,
Oh yeah.
But he doesn't have anything to worry about anymore. He's gone. So
That's true.
yeah, I guess we should just start there because like we're already talking about it. I feel like I have very little to say about this other than I think like you said, Kirklin, you're right. It wasn't the whole episode, so maybe I was a bit harsh on my open, but it's just that in these scenarios, it's just we know Dexter's gonna get out of this. We know. So I wish it was only half the episode instead of maybe 75%, because then the other 25% is him just driving and yelling with Deb and stuff like that. So I wish it was just like a little sooner. Again, I think there is a version of last week because that's only 40 minutes and this is 40 minutes again. I think there's a long episode. You could put these episodes together and it would work. But so I like the content. I like Dexter. Trying to outsmart him and stuff like that. I like the little hunt stuff, but I guess it just went on too long for me just knowing, okay, Dexter's in no peril here. He's going to find a way to get his phone. He's going to get the truck. He's going to go to Kurt. And here we are,
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I thought some of the stuff that they were showing was fun, like the cat and mouse game. It was like semi-stressful, but then you just remember that Dexter's the main character, and he's not actually going to get killed by this one character that got introduced at the end of last week's episode. So
that would have been bold.
I think they stretched that out a little too long. Yeah, no, I think the saving grace there is what I mentioned, the non-spoiler, though, how we were jumping to, like, Angela, figuring out some more stuff on Dexter. We went to Harrison with Kurt, and, like, those moments, it's like, okay, this is good that they're making this decision, not just wasting 45 minutes or whatnot, just having Dexter run away and then just get the better of this Joker wannabe. But, like, there were still some fun things shown. It's just, it was a little too stretched out for sure. Like when they get to the shack and it reminded me of like an episode of like Jurassic Park when they're in whatever facility and there's raptors in the place that they're trying to hide from. But in this case, Dexter was the raptor. But that was fun.
Learning. Yeah. What about you, Taylor? Anything to say on Dexter and the hunter guy?
Well, I liked it because I felt like it was again, the square off of serial killer versus serial killer kind of thing. I really like it.
I don't think this guy's a serial killer.
We
No,
don't
I
know
don't.
he's a serial
I don't see him. I'm just using it as a segue into this kind of thing because Kurt's a serial killer, but I like the idea of him. Oh yeah, I like him. I like him being hunted. I just think it's super cool, and he's just like his whole dialogue that he's kind of like saying to himself, like, I hope this guy's like as drawn to blood as I am and stuff like that. And just like he didn't swear, but he's like, I hate seeing my own blood or something like that.
fucking hate seeing my own blood.
It's just, he's really, really funny.
Fucking love seeing my own blood. Just make a weird twist on it.
It is fucking personal. Every sentence he has the F-bombs in there.
I really got a kick out of just that whole scene. But just, I also want to say, I think this was just a great nod to, horror movies, right? Like your Shining and then your Jason, little like great Camp is great for a serial killer. I just feel like, okay, they're actually like troping iconic horror movies in this episode, it feels like. So
again, I think for me, I would just enjoy it knowing if we had another season, because it's like what Kirklin was saying. If we look back on this and we feel like, man, the finale was really rushed, this is going to be one of these episodes I feel like we'd pin down and be like, did we really, like, could Dexter just fuck that guy at the truck stop and got his phone? Like, did we really need the whole, and it's weird because I just like, I'm stuck in between of like, I want to take them by their word, but I do feel more like Taylor. Like, I just don't know how, especially with like, I guess we'll say anything else on the truck stop, Kurt's friend or Dexter, anything like that. No, that's what I mean. And that's the only thing he says, oh, it's not personal, I'm just doing my job, which is like, is your job just kidnapping people, dude? Like, I don't know. Like, that's kind of fucking weird defense. And then Dexter has like, it is my son, so it is personal. He stabs him. He hides the body. I was very surprised he didn't take even the knife, because I feel like, one, for like a weapon, but I mean like, the sense of the rest of everything, you could see, okay, someone came in here, killed them, we'll have to figure it out. Once you have the knife, you have Jim's prints. Now, maybe this is going to be like the rolling ball effect, because like we've seen he's been a little like sloppy, he's compromised because his son. So maybe with what Andrew's figuring out, but I was a little surprised he didn't even take the knife. He just, sheet over him. We're good to go.
I thought he had gloves on.
Did he have gloves on?
I thought
he
so.
did.
Yeah.
He did.
Okay,
so,
but the only time I don't think he had gloves on, wasn't there one moment where he was like spreading blood across like the fucking door of the handle? I'm pretty sure that was his fingers.
There'll be prints there for sure.
yeah, but like again, I was still surprised he didn't take the knife for some protection. But
no, I was thinking that too, even just like hiding it, because like it's one thing coming across a crime scene of someone got stabbed and then you find out that he's pretty sketchy, but it's another thing to be like, okay, this guy got stabbed by a single stab wound to the heart, like it was so accurate. Someone that like stabbed this guy knew what he was doing, so then it kind of narrows your, like, I don't know, your search range. And with what we've seen Angela looking into here, maybe that's setting up that sort of thing, so it's planted there consciously, like by the writers of the show. Maybe that's the reasoning, but I definitely thought it was bizarre he didn't try to at least like take the knife. And I don't know, like, because we've seen in the past him like make a job that isn't sloppy look sloppy, as if it was like a mugging or something like that. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, so that's a good example. And even in this revival show, we've seen that. So it is bizarre that we're getting it differently in just this episode.
I guess the cases that I think the writers would make, like, well, with Matt, he wasn't worried about his son, right? He was just by himself and he had time and stuff. Where this, he's like, he's probably not thinking straight because he thinks Kurt could kill his son at any moment. So that's where I go, okay, fine. And I do think it's like what I'm transitioning to is I think it is the snowball effect, because, man, you have Frank Lundy, you have Deborah Morgan, you have Batista, you have Dokes, you have LaGuardia, all these people that work on the Bay Harbor Butcher case in season 2, and all it takes is fucking little old Angela and Iron Lake just to put a few things together, like, oh gee. Now, luckily, again, Dokes figured out stuff like that, and it's because it's a small town, she knows him personally, things like that, but it is funny of like, and I like the way they're doing it. I like the way that she wasn't really not catching on, but looking into it, because she was dealing with the Matt case and she was traveling in New York and stuff like that. But she talks to the drug dealer guy and like he has a hole in his neck, and then she gets to see the body, which I don't know what the timeline is. Like, maybe I don't know like how like I guess no, I get that storage lockers keep the bodies pretty fresh, right? I imagine like that.
Yeah,
so, okay.
They must keep them cold.
I was just wondering why they still had the main drug dealer there. But anyway, so she starts to just ask a bunch of questions, pretty much. I'll paraphrase. She's trying to think that she's thinking Dexter's shady, and then now she's had 2 dead people with a, syringe input into their neck. The first drug dealer said, oh yeah, I feel like he stuck me with something, and he beat me up after the cops show up. So again, everything we've seen as a viewer, she's starting to put 2 and 2 together. And then she starts to search, the drug. And then she searches Bay Harbor Butcher, but then she searches the drug in Miami, and that comes to linking all the Bay Harbor Butcher, that serum or whatever, that medicine, into his victims, stuff like that. Now, I'm not an autopsy person. I do wonder when Dexter killed those people and put them in the bottom of the lake, would that still be in their blood cell? Like, this is not me trying to be smart. I'm like asking a scientific question. Like,
Yeah.
if I kill Kirklin, put the needle,
It wouldn't be.
Yeah, right. So that's why I was kind of strange.
It might be. How do you know, Taylor? You bio major?
No,
what is this?
Like
He answered too
traces
quick,
of that,
Kirklin.
like
No, it wouldn't be.
traces of like that kind of a chemical in your body after like it's been everything in the ocean floor is probably taking a bite out of you, and you decompose after a while. Like there might be traces, but it would be extremely less likely, especially if we jump ahead like 8 years, 10 years, or are you meaning, Travis, as soon as they found those bodies? Because maybe there's a chance, but not all of them would have traces.
Well, that's what I mean. Dexter, there's a few of them are like, oh, these are a few weeks old, but then there's some that have been missing for years. And that's where I'd have to go back, but I did just watch it. I didn't remember, and that's why I thought, oh, is this a little too convenient? I didn't remember in season 2 them ever pinpointing, oh, they're using this to knock out their victims and stuff like that. I don't think they ever got that specific. So maybe it's been so many years later that science has evolved and they did find a way to test these bodies, these blood and stuff like that. They figured it out. But I thought it was, again, almost like Dexter, almost like Curd in the fucking snow. Angela figuring that out was a little... I wish she just kind of still had her suspicions and moved along. I don't think she needed to search the drug and then that. She was already looking at fucking Dave Bautista's and Angel Bautista's Instagram about Dexter and stuff, so I feel like she was already getting there and we didn't need the medicine thing, but it's fine.
Good pronunciation on Angel. Look at you.
Yeah. I just loved it because I love when they call him that in the series,
No, yeah, I definitely thought it was a little eye rolly when she searched specifically like ketamine, Miami murders, and then the first thing comes up is Bay Harbor Butcher.
It may as well just came up with a picture of Dexter Morgan at that point.
Actually, I thought she was gonna Google. Yeah, I thought she was gonna Google Bay Harbor Butcher, and then maybe third article down, they found out that certain bodies here had, or maybe the fresher ones had the substance there. I don't know. Maybe if there's someone listening to this that's smarter than us and knows how long it would take substances like that to leave your system, maybe they could speak to it. But I would have to agree with Taylor. I feel like just with how long some of those bodies were at the bottom of the ocean, majority of them would have been decomposed, let alone just carrying the drugs still in the system. But no, I thought I definitely found that a little eye rolly, a little mustache twirly. One Google search and it comes up right with Bay Harbor Butcher, and then she's just looking at her obituary, Dexter Morgan. It's just. Yeah, I thought everything other than that was kind of fun with her, actually finding the prick point of where the needle went in the neck and stuff like that. Because, again, that's just good detective work, I guess. From her point, it's making her a more deep character. She's actually quite smart, good cop, and all that stuff was fun. But it all comes down to one quick Google search, and it still has me excited though for that confrontation that I know is coming. They're gonna be, she's already super sus on Dexter, and then I was kind of asking myself that question just with how this episode ended. Where are Dexter and Harrison going to go now? Are they going to go straight to the authorities? Be like, hey, this guy just fucking kidnapped. He was literally going to shoot my son. His Joker friend just kidnapped me. I self-defense, murdered him in the cab. How is that going to progress? That I feel like that's the biggest thing that has me excited for next week's episode is just the ending of this one. I don't know if you guys feel the same. Again, I'm kind of jumping. We were going to talk about this topic. I don't know if we have anything else to say on Angela.
The thing I think to answer your question on what to expect and excitement of that in the next episode, Dexter has a notorious habit of not going to the cops and let the cops deal with it when he should.
Oh yeah.
And he's not gonna go. He's going straight back home with Harrison.
It's Harrison, we're hunting this guy down. He's just driving after Kurt in the woods.
Rita would still be alive if Dexter just picked up the fucking phone and said,
"True,
hey, I figured out who Trinity is," and then it's over. Trinity would have never known. Dexter turned him in. His life would be so much better. But Taylor's right. No matter how many times he learns, no, not the cops. They'll handle this wrong. It's Angela's finding out who the fucking Bay Harbor Butcher is. I think she'd be able to figure this out. But
She was already sus on Kurt too, so there's no
Yes.
reason not to.
Well, and like we talked about, even the drug dealers, like Logan figured that all on his own. Like like Dexter, like this whole like, oh, I gotta do it for them. But that's my only thing. So it's so funny. I've gone back and forth where like this season started. I'm like, oh, there's no way Harrison's like gonna be a killer guy, right? And then like, boom, he's a killer guy. And as we got further in the season, like, there's no way they're really gonna tackle this Bay Harbor Butcher stuff because that's like a lot to tackle. So that's what I'm interested as far as. I thought she might find out he's a killer. Something's wrong with him. Fake identity. That all works. But finding out he's the Bay Harbor Butcher to me has a lot bigger implications than just Jim's a shady guy. And again, I want #justice for Dokes. Dokes needs to be cleared, the poor man, and his family. Like, he should not be labeled as the Bay Harbor Butcher. But again, I just look at, okay, so if you have next week is the Come to Jesus Dexter Harrison episode, right? Where they finally talk it out, he reveals everything. And one thing, again, that I'm a little worried, they show in the previews that like Dexter's going to be like retelling one of his old kills. So that we're going to do flashbacks. And the same, I'm like, do we need flashbacks to Dexter taking some guy out? Because he's like, they have his hair like looking like 2005-ish, like Michael C. Hall and stuff like that. So they're going to do some flashbacks. And like, so my thing is, so if next week is the whole Dexter Harrison episode, then that's one episode to also tackle whatever. Because the thing is, I know it's kind of transitioning to some other stuff, but I thought for sure Dexter was just going to fucking run over Kurt and that would be the end of it. And that's where I was like, okay, if Kurt dies in this episode, then I actually feel, okay, 2 episodes to play with Harrison and Angela, that's enough time. That's 2 hours. We can do that. But the fact that we got to do Dexter Harrison, Dexter, Angela, and still Kurt is this threat, that's where I'm worried. Like, that seems like a lot because I feel like if they didn't want her to turn him in or something like that, I feel like they wouldn't even had her find out about the Bay Harbor Butcher stuff. Just have her find out that he's being shady. So the fact that they introduced that back in, I'm excited because I wanted that always to be revealed to the world. But I also just go, again, do we have enough time to tackle this? And I'm going to be disappointed if she finds out he's the Bay Harbor Butcher, but Dexter just dies in some fucking alley fighting Kurt. Because it's just like, what was the point? It doesn't matter if this dead guy's the Bay Harbor Butcher, you know? So, again, like, I like it, but I'm just worried, like, do we have time to really get into this, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's something I wasn't really thinking, like, while I was watching it, because as I was saying, like, I wasn't cognizant of how many episodes were left as I was watching it. It's a great thing you brought up because it is kind of concerning with how much is is Kurt really that much of a threat? I feel like he was just running into the woods aimlessly. Is he going
where'd
to
he
find
go though?
He's going to find his billionaire friend. I don't know.
Disappeared thing.
Oh my god!
That was
I literally was laughing out loud when he was just like shuffling into the woods. He's like, "Oh fuck!" Drops his gun. I thought Dexter was gonna pick up the gun right there and just shoot him.
Well,
It
no,
got
the guy
driven
ran
over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that to me,
convenient.
to me, that set up the whole reason of like, oh, this is why Dexter can just go and take him out. He's defenseless, like you said. He's running like Wario through the fucking woods. Like he's not making any movement. They literally have a scene where they look. He's in the woods. You okay? They look back like Ghostface. He's gone. I think they're implying like he probably has something like dug out, like in the field or something.
Definitely.
But it was just cheesy the way I wish they cut
It
to him
was.
hidden. Like it was cheesy, like Kurt fucking what? Just like was saving turbo boost mode. Like he had a red mushroom like and he was gone. Like again, and I don't understand, like Harrison's clearly fine. I do not understand why Dexter did not just run after Kurt and fuck him up, because it's like, why would you leave this loose end hanging? And that felt like I said, to me, this was actually a perfect episode to kill Kurt, because what more can we do with him? I guess just more cat and mouse games, but it's just like, this would have been a great confrontation. He's trying to kill Harrison. Dexter outsmarts Kurt. He goes to Kurt, fucks him up, kills him. Now it's like, we're going to talk. And just when Dexter's like, I've killed Kurt, I've taken care of Harrison, he knows everything, life's looking good, then boom, Angela, she's here, fuck, again, my life's ruined. But now it's like he has Angela and Kurt going. It's just like, I don't know. Taylor, you haven't talked. What do you feel about Angela finding about, well, pretty much figuring out he's Bay Harbor Butcher, and she did a lot of digging in this episode?
Yeah, I thought it was like a jaw dropper for me when we get to see, okay, she's connecting the dots. She's taking 2 photos here of the needle in the neck. I thought, okay, this is getting good. Like, she's figuring it out. It's getting crazy. And I feel like, okay, if anything, Harrison's going to learn that Dexter's a serial killer from Angela before he learns it from Dexter. I feel like he's going to be on the cusp of telling him, and then the cops are going to burst in and just arrest him. Like, you're under arrest for, murder of everyone in Florida. And Harrison's like, what the fuck? But I think it's great to show that she's kind of coming around and figuring this stuff out. I wasn't really expecting her to figure it out. I thought they would. I do feel like they would do another season. I felt like they would hold off on her figuring out and save that. But if she figures it out, I'm kind of wondering
you're walking
if.
it back. You're walking.
Well,
your
I'm
prediction
wondering
back?
if she's gonna be like, "Hey, Dexter, like I support your life choices" or something like that. Like, you know,
No.
fuck these criminals. They need to be killed or something like that. But we'll see. Another thing I want to shout out
Sounds
just when
just
we're
like
talking
Angela.
about Kurt.
Fuck these criminals. They need to be killed.
when Kurt was like lining up the shot, like that whole sequence was just like bonkers. But when they were having the dinner and everything, and he walks off like, I gotta check on something, I'll be right back. And he just comes back into the kitchen. I was like, this is like he's got his Call of Duty cosplay ready to go. Like,
Get up.
why do you have to
Get out
dress
of
up
fucking
like
house.
this? Yeah, like why do you put on his white camo? Like, I get it's part of his ritual, he's got to, but he just like as Harrison, like what the fuck is going through Harrison's mind? He's having a great steak venison with Kurt, and he comes in all jacked up in his military gear, like what's going on? And he is like, I think he acted that scene great because like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Like, what did he do wrong? Like, we know obviously because of what Dexter did.
The
but
sins of his father. He drove that line. No, that was the scene too that like the flash forward kind of ruined for me because I feel like if I didn't see that in the flash forward and he just came into the
you would
kitchen
have been
wearing,
really like, what the fuck?
wearing the snowsuit, I'd have been like, holy fuck, this is happening right now. But like I knew that was happening, so I'm like, okay, he's at the cabin with Harrison. It's only a matter of time till he puts on his fucking like level 40 operator skin that he unlocked playing with the boys.
It was crazy when he lined up that red dot laser sight right on Harrison's chest. Holy shit.
I love Kurt so much.
Oh, I love him too.
Oh,
yeah.
just like how many parties does he ruin going into one room, coming out the other?
And also he checks the time. He's like, oh, I'll be right back. I gotta check on something. It's like, what the fuck could he be doing in the middle of the cat? Like he's in the middle of nowhere with Harrison. There's something I got to attend to. And he just bolts to the back room. Like, okay, that if ever I'm in a room and someone does that, I'm fucking out of there. He's coming out of here with his military outfit. He's gonna shoot me in the back.
He just looked like it's intimidating, but that moment too, he just kind of comes off as like a loser. Like, why'd you have to put the shit on the chairs? Like, and that's the other thing we talked about before. Like, oh, we're probably gonna find a lot more out about Kurt. Are we gonna get like the full origin, like why he specifically does all this stuff, like or not? And that's the thing where it's just interesting. But yeah, like all seriousness, I think it was a good scene. It was funny just because it was so uncomfortable. It just like he went from Kurt to fucking serial killer. It's not the way it's supposed to be, Kurt, like in a snap. And just, yeah, it was good. And like obviously he walked out because Dexter with whatever his phone texted him and said like, oh, hey, I'm on the way. Let's break down all the Kurt and Harrison stuff after our next ad break here. Oh no, I hit the wrong button. And we're back. So go ahead, Kirk. I thought you were going to say something before I threw that.
Yeah, no, like, so that was just like kind of a wacky and comical scene just for like the abruptness of it. But as you were kind of mentioning, like the stuff before that was actually really good. Like the dialogue between Kurt and Harrison. I really liked how Kurt was just being this like, it's almost like a stepfather, like coming in just being the new dad in like that dynamic of like the son doesn't have a good relationship with his dad, and like he just kept like, you know, leaning into the things that Harrison kind of has issues with. I don't even want to paraphrase because I would just butcher it, but if you've seen the episode, you know what they're talking about. Just like the things that Harrison was kind of putting on himself. It should have been like Dexter, the one that is to blame for that. So all of that dialogue was just really, really good. And I thought we were gonna be leaning more into that camp. I think because that was so good, it made the abruptness of him just putting on his snowsuit like, sorry kid, you're getting shot in the fucking back right now.
Yeah.
Like that just seemed really, really abrupt and unneeded because I thought Kurt was kind of like initially I thought, okay, Kurt hates Dexter. He's gonna just kill his fucking son because that's what happened. And you know, Kurt knew that. We knew that Kurt knew that Dexter killed his son just from the dialogue that they kind of had with each other. What did you say? I missed
the
that.
Snow. Don't forget the snow. He figured it out. Remember the ash?
Oh yeah, that's right. Tastes like Matt. So like I thought that was a really good avenue to go down, and then it just all that stuff was thrown out the window as soon as he just puts on the snowsuit, because like, sorry, I'm just gonna kill you. And that, like, I felt like we were foreplaying to something that was gonna be really, really fun and exciting. Like maybe Harrison kind of gets lured over by Kurt, and Kurt has Harrison by the fucking balls, and now like that's his lackey, and maybe Harrison's the one that takes out Dexter here. Like I thought maybe we were going that route, but with what happened at the end of this episode, it's just completely thrown out. It's like, no, we just kind of wasted time building.
He could still recruit him.
Oh yeah.
I don't think so. And so the dialogue I feel was kind of wasted. The fucking batting scene was completely wasted now. Even while I was watching, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Taylor, you're kind of alluding to it earlier, so maybe you can speak to it more. I hated that scene. I thought it was so I thought it was like spliced in. Like they had the episode, they're like, oh shit, we're low on runtime. Let's go do some batting practice for like 20 minutes, because every fucking time they hit the ball, he would like walk to the other side to like converse. Okay, we're gonna try this again. And then he'd walk all the way back to like the batting machine. It was just so, it wasn't paced well, in my opinion.
I took that as him setting the stage up. Like he can't just give Harrison money like he would a woman in front of his restaurant, you know. This so him doing the batting thing. This is him kind of roping in the Harrison a little bit. He knows that, okay, like the dad's out of the picture here for the day, so I'm gonna be a dad, make him feel comfortable and relaxed, and get him out to my house so that way I can catch him off guard, right? And it worked.
Creepy. I'm gonna be a dad. Yeah, see, I'll actually take the other route. I liked the abruptness of him doing, not just because of the comedic bit of him putting the snow gear on and stuff. I like that because I felt from Kurt's point of view that he did genuinely care about Harrison, and there was a bond there, and it did just feel like, well, you know, he killed my son, so I gotta kill you. And I think that's, to me, why it was so abrupt. There was no build up. There was no Harrison trying to catch on to him, like, oh, he's being a little sus. It's just like, no, he does care about the guy, but when it comes time to it, I'm going to do this thing. And I didn't mind that. Some of the school stuff I went back and forth to, like, not minding to, like, I didn't know if I mind the baseball scene, but it went on a little long. And I got the point that they were trying to go for, that Harrison's punching himself. He doesn't feel like he's good enough. He doesn't measure up to his dad. Like, I get what they're going for. It got a little weird after when he kept just putting those balls.
The execution was just weird.
Yeah. Like,
another.
Yeah.
Another.
Yeah. It's like they're building up some Ray Kylo, like, fucking sexual tensions, and like, hit me again. And it's like, okay, and Kurt just has this look on his face. Like, oh, I don't know.
It was weird because it started off like Kurt is going to be like, I'm going to fuck this kid up with these curveballs. And then he's like, oh shit, he's starting to like it. Do I keep going here? It was, I don't know. It was weird. And I do understand that, you know, Harrison's kind of punishing himself there, but it just, I couldn't take it seriously because it was just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why do we even come to the school? And then that's the only reason they're at the school was to do batting practice. And it's
and he showed him Matt's like all his trophies and stuff, and you know he's having, I don't know what the fuck they were doing there. He was just killing time, I guess. He was just doing anything to try and. But what if it would have backfired? What if he would have shot them with that ball? I'm like, I want to go home. Like, I'm really hurt. Like, I don't want to go have steaks with you.
Another.
Kirsch just, but yeah, and I'm not sure. Is there anything on the school or anything else you guys have to say?
Just quickly touch upon what you just mentioned. Like, if that went poorly, that would have been so bad for Kurt, actually, because he's not even in the woods. Like, he can't just murder this kid in the school, right? So, like, if Harrison's just like, I want to go home, he's like, no, you're not. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, Harrison is a physically able man. He can, like, probably dismantle Kurt. Like, I don't
know
think
about that.
No, he's
too big. You don't think so? You don't think so?
Look how fast he moves in the woods.
Can outrun anybody.
Oh, fuck off.
No, I think Kurt might know some tricks. Like, I think it'd be a pretty evenly match. You know, I'd like.
He had his hands full with that one lady that was showing off her totties.
That's true. He did put up a struggle with it, but he didn't have a snow gear on. He's put a snow gear on. You don't fuck with him.
He gets like a stat boost wearing a ski mask.
A perk.
Oh my god.
But and then after that, like we said, he has Harrison in his sights. Dexter, I don't even think was the right move. I don't know why he was fucking just honking to oblivion right there. I get to maybe like to get his attention, but it was just like I feel like Kurt would have had his like. I feel like there's a moment where Kurt would have been had his sights on Harrison, and eventually looked over like he's moving real fast, and then would have been hit instead of. It's like clearly that's not your friend anymore. Why the fuck would his employee just?
But I think
Bring
that
him
was
out. I want him to see this.
like Kurt
it's
not.
like, he's so far away. He's not gonna hear you, dude.
Kurt not overreacting to it just implies that that's how he normally acts. This truck driver just honks the horn lots, like, I'm coming, boss. Like, this is how he talks,
What
right?
an obnoxious asshole. Oh no, remember? That's what Dexter responded with. He's like, where are you? And he's like, he said like, all good, boss, on the way.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, who the fuck is talking like this, Dexter? But yeah, Kurt can take, like we talked about, Kurt takes a couple shots at him. Dexter avoided them all. Kurt fucking ran in the woods. We don't know where he is. No gun. He has his gear though, so his gear will get him through the night.
He'll survive the cold for sure.
What I would love for like a very dark humor moment if like a fucking white buck killed him, you know, like
Ooh, full circle.
yeah, but it won't. He's gonna show up. He's gonna be like, hey, Dexter, I know what you're doing, and I got your like whatever. I actually kind of hope Harrison kills him, but we'll see what happens.
Do you guys remember that comment he made when they're going into the school and Kurt's just like, or Harrison's like, what about the cameras? And Kurt's like, well, they're busy watching deer, not the kids, you know, at the school.
Yes.
Very kind of out of place, but
I don't think so. I think he was trying to like get to the point where they care more about these animals than our actual children and whatnot. Kind of like earlier with Matt and the white buck and all this stuff, how it would have been dumb if he shot it. So I think he was insinuating that the people are misguided here of Iron Lake, you know, and again, we're never gonna see that fucking billionaire ever again, are we? Like that's just a complete like
season 2.
Yeah, Kurt's brother back. He has his own snow gear. But then anyway, so Dexter picks up Harrison. They're driving, and Dexter, what we've been waiting for I feel like at least 2 episodes, maybe 3, finally says, you know, it's not you. You never have to be alone ever again. I've had dark urges too. And my father, pretty much everything we've expected, right? My father adopted me. We worked on it, had a code, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was a really touching moment. Again, as somebody that was not for Harrison being the killer, I think they're doing a good job writing it at least. So I love when he just like bursts in motion and hugs him and whatnot, and Dexter, you know, at one point closes his eyes for solid 5 seconds. Like, could have been over for them on the road. You know, keep your eyes on the roads, people. But and then he's just like, oh, this is what I always wanted. And Dexter, the sick fuck, no, wouldn't have wanted his kid to be normal. Of course, he wanted to be a fucking serial killer. But yeah, so next week I think we're gonna get, like I said, the full come to Jesus. I think that will be exciting. Again, I still just wonder how much time we have to play with. But I thought it was a really nice moment and a good ending of like, oh, can't wait to see what happens next week. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like this is something in the series that I've just been waiting for, like this whole time. I'm probably not alone in that. It's just that interaction that Dexter and Harrison hopefully we'll have next episode. Like they're really teasing us, so it better happen. And I mean, there's been so many opportunities for that, right? When they're like, how many times have they sat down and eaten together? And like the most dialogue that Harrison has had eating with someone was Kurt, the guy that literally put on a ski mask, was going to shoot him like 1 minute and a half later. So I really hope that that's the route we're going. I can't imagine. If it's not the route we're going next episode, it's like completely. Oh my god, man, that's rough. But I'm pretty confident that's not the case. So I'm excited nonetheless. And something we did mention this episode, Deb, she kind of took a step back. It was still fun to have her like with Dexter just in peril.
Kind of like last week though too. Remember we said that she had one good scene, then she was gone. Like this, this scene, she was just like, "Drive faster, Dex, drive faster." Yeah. It's just same thing. I hope we get some solid. Again, that's I feel like a little thing you need to end off, like a one nice scene with them too. But again, it's been a little less. So, Taylor, any thoughts on the moment or going to next week?
Well, again, I do feel like we're gonna get the setup of he's about to tell Harrison like more about the code, all that kind of stuff, and it's just gonna end with Angela coming in, and maybe it would be actually pretty cool to get Angela coming in and he explains to both of them, and Angela's just like you know, she puts her gun on the table, she puts her hand across.
Yeah. Kurt came by and fucking killed.
Kurt told me the truth. He told me Harrison was attacking him.
Yeah, Kurt killed Jim Lindsay and his son. Oh my!
And the billionaire.
And I had to kill Kurt in the process as well. Season 2, it's just Angela. But And what about wasn't Kurt following the podcaster last week, or was that No, that was 2 weeks ago. Right,
He
that
was.
2 weeks
He's following her, so we'll definitely. I don't know. He's got his tunnels right in his whole property, so he's gonna track her down.
He's like Tremors. He just travels throughout the city in tunnels. That's how he knows what ash tastes like. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. Like I said, from that preview, that's the only thing I'm worried. I just don't know if we need to do flashbacks. I don't need nostalgia for Dexter in season 1. Like, it's cool seeing him in the getup, but it's just as long as it ties it all the way home. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm excited. Either way, again, like Kirklin said, this is like still over 50. It's well up. But I think if I were ranking episodes, it'd be like in a 7 or higher, stuff like that. So let's see. I do think these next 2 weeks are going to be. I hope they're going to be bangers. Where these last 2 episodes have been solid to good, but I've been a little like I want a little bit more. I don't think that's going to happen with 9 and 10. Even if it is the end, even if it's a rushed end, we're going to have lots to talk about, especially on that finale night. So, anything else to say, gentlemen, before we get out of here?
Nope.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be probably back on a regular schedule. Because, yeah, Kirk, what is your family? So, not to ask you on air, but what's your family situation? Doesn't your family go back at like January 1st or 2nd?
31st, actually, before New Year's. Yeah.
So we might be able to do a Saturday night Dexter next week. Like, do it live, right?
Yeah.
Taylor, you think so?
Whatever day that is.
I'm
On the
interested.
1st?
I think, is that the first? Yeah, it'd be the first. what a uncommittal. I'm interested. So there you go. Either way, it's going to be a lot earlier than the Tuesday you'll be getting it. So we'll be back. And then definitely finale night. We'll try to make sure we're going to be doing that on Saturday at 9 because that's going to be, it's going to be a spicy meatball one. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. If you're watching live, we'll be back here with a newscast just a second. And until next time, I'll not be boring.
Peace.
Bye-bye.